Hello and welcome back to Yarn Creations. This is Crystal and I am here to show you a video tutorial on C2C. So I have a bit of a sample that I started here just so you could kind of get an idea as to what it looks like. Yeah, it definitely is a different kind of texture. It's a little raised. You do have, these gaps in there. The great thing about C2C though is that you can actually, in a more harder pattern, you can incorporate like pictures. I'm currently working on a deer camouflage blanket. I haven't worked on it in a long time, but I do need to finish it. It's actually rather large. So I should get back into finishing that. I have posted a picture of it on my page. It's probably from a while ago, but you can always maybe go through the photos if you want to see what I'm talking about. But I actually took a photo of the deer and then I put it into this application that you can use. I can't recall the name. Stitch Fiddler, I think is what it's called. And I put the picture in it and it actually created a graph for me, and then you just work square by square. So that's, for a more intermediate level C2C. In this video, I'm just going to kind of show you the basics where there's not going to be any color changes. When you're doing color changes with C2C, you kind of need to work with like bobbins where you have like, and I just use cardboard where you wrap cardboard around for the different colors that you're going to be incorporating. I mean, you can stay attached to the actual ball that you're using, but it does get rather tangly. So I mean, it's it's a great way to be able to incorporate an image into your project. But again, it's more of an intermediate level, and I will, at some point do a video with that where maybe I'll just do like a small little square with maybe like a heart-shaped pattern in the center to kind of show you what I mean. But for the purpose of this video, I just kind of wanted to show you the basics of C2C, just using one color and how it works. For me, when I learned this, it was trial and error. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed, and it just seemed awkward to me when I first started to learn. And even when I did this sample, I had to refresh my memory on how to do it. So even when I start to show you here, don't mind me if I kind of have to like pause and, remember what it is that I do to get started. I think that's the initial struggle, or what's the hardest part is just getting it started. And to keep this video so that it's not super long, because even just this portion that I've done here probably took me, about half an hour if I was working at it, from start to finish. So I'm just gonna kind of show you like a little swatch almost, so that you can see the whole process and how you do, because you work basically from the corner and you go up. So I'm just gonna do like just a few rows so that I don't go on for too long with C2C, because for me to show you my intention with this, and I've made them before, is to just make a dishcloth with C2C, just something simple and different. So for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to show you a little corner so that you can kind of see the process from start to finish, because when you stop going, continuing up, there's just a different process that you have to do. You'll kind of see it here. So I've decided that this is how long I want it to go. So I'm now not going to keep going this way. I'm going to start going up this way so that when we finish, we'll end up with a square. So when you get to a corner like that and you're not going to extend it anymore, you start to create like a border across there. So, but again, you'll see that when I just show you the little piece there. So I think I've probably have talked a lot. I don't, blame you for wanting to fast forward to the actual pattern itself, but I just kind of wanted to give you a bit of a background on the pattern, and just what we're going to look at today. Okay, so I just grabbed some cotton yarn It's just 100% cotton with this beautiful, nice yellow and white variation combo here. I think it looks really neat. I like kind of, the yarns that change color throughout. Just adds a uniqueness to it. Okay, so, and then I'm also, of course, using my 5mm hook. You could use smaller hook for this, depending on, how big you want this to be. In terms of what I'm doing here, I'm just going to create the sample swatch. So it's just going to be a little version of C2C, just so you guys can see the steps and how you do that. So we'll just get started here. So we're going to do our slip knot. And so we're going to be using double crochet stitch with this. You can also do C2C with half double crochet. Single crochet I would not recommend. The stitches are too tiny in order to create that block look. So now I'm going to chain 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so now we're going to work into the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to work in that one there, and we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, so we are going to do 3 double crochets across here. So this is our 2nd one, and then we're going to work into that 1st chain that we created there. Okay, what happened there? Hold on, guys. I started working into the same stitch. I knew that hole was too big. All right. There, that's lining up a little bit better there. Okay. So that is what we call our 1st block. So now what we're going to do is we need to chain another 6 because we need to move to our next row. So I'm going to chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to start doing 3 double crochets, but we've got to start from the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. And then 3. Perfect. All right, so now we have this kind of, these 2 little blocks. Okay, so we need to join them. So this involves kind of a bit of turning, and just bear with me here because I might do this the wrong way because I seem to always somehow can't figure this out. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed and it just seems really off to me, but so I think I've got it. So here we go. So we have it looking like this. So we do need to turn. So we need to turn this piece up. So that initial, so when we did the chain 6 and then we only crocheted into the 4th chain from the hook, it kind of created its own chain at the beginning. So technically we have like 4 going across, and that's how even this one will look. 1, 2, 3, 4. That first one we kind of use as like our groundwork for connecting them. So, and you'll see the gaps in between. So we want to work into that, and we're going to chain, or we're going to slip stitch just like that. And now we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. So again, that's going to create that extra stitch that we'll work into gradually through each row. So now we're going to double crochet 3 into this space there. So again, we're still working in that chain that I had you do the slip stitch into. So again, you can see we now have 4 I mean, this, our chain here kind of acts as a double crochet. So we have 4 going across. So that now completes our second row. So we have our corner, and then that's our second row. So now we need to start working on another row, which means that we need to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and again, we're going to work from the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to do a double crochet. And then we're going to do 2 more double crochets. Perfect. So again, so now, I mean, even though that looks like we could start, you know, it would start lining up, we still need to turn, because by turning it, it kind of makes us go in the opposite direction so that we can work into these spots here. So again, I'll show you that again, because it seems to, for me anyways, it's always the trickiest part. So we need to flip this up, and then we're going to work into that chain 3 that we did. And we're just going to slip stitch so that we connect them. And then we're going to do a chain 3. And then we're going to do 3 double crochets into that space, into that chain 3. Okay. And then again, since we're moving up to the next block, we're going to slip stitch so that we connect it. And we're going to do a chain 3, because this isn't moving to our next row just yet, because as you can see, it's going to increase by 1 each time that we go. So we need to do 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. It is a pretty neat pattern that you can get into. I do like, you know, the design that it kind of creates. It gives us this bit of a raise in it. And again, like I said, when you start incorporating images into it, it's awesome. Like, I look up C2C patterns and you'll know what I mean. Different ones that are out there, and you know, it's definitely very cool that you can create something like that. It's like doing like a graphic hand too. Same kind of idea, but with graphic hands, you can use the single crochet to do it. And you would also use a graph. So, I mean, with C2C, if you're doing something that has an image, yes, you would work from a graph. You can even create your own, you know, draw your own image and, you know, get some graph paper, draw your own image. You count each square as your starting point. So, I mean, if you draw a square, draw your image inside there, and then your surrounding pieces, you can just use, you know, for your background, choose a color. And then once you get to where your design starts, then you start incorporating different colors. So it's very neat. I think it would be really cool if I could do like an elephant one. I'm a big collector with elephants, so I think that would be really neat, even if it was just like an elephant head. But let's carry on. That's another conversation that maybe I'll save for a live show when I can talk more about myself, not while during a video tutorial. Okay, so now we've completed our 3rd row, essentially, with C2C. So we need to move on to the next row. So we need to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So again, we're going to start to double crochet from the 4th chain from the hook. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to double crochet into that one there. Oops. And then we're going to do 2 more. And then 1 more. So we did 3. And again, we have it so that it looks like that, but we know that we need to turn so that we can continue to work in our row going up this direction. Okay, so we're going to slip stitch to that chain 3 space in that block there so that we can connect it. We're going to chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets in that chain 3 space. Okay, so we're going to do that again because we're moving up to our next block. So we're going to slip stitch to connect, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into that space. Okay, so again, we're going to do the same thing because this is our last block in that row, but we need to go past that because to finish off our 4th row there. So again, we're going to slip stitch to connect, chain 3, and then we need to double crochet into that chain 3 space. Okay, so that's as far as I'm going to go with rows. So, I mean, you can definitely, like, as you see, you're just going to keep repeating those same steps over and over again until you get to your desired size. So, I mean, with a dishcloth, that can be anywhere between 9 to 11 inches or bigger, depending on, you know, what your preference is. But for the purpose of this video, and because I've already talked quite a bit, I'm going to show you how you would finish this off to make a complete square. So we don't want to extend this side anymore. So what we need to do is just chain 1, and then we're going to turn it, and we're now going to just do a single crochet across the top. So we're going to do 3, and then we're going to do a chain of 3. Okay, so now that closes off that corner, and you'll see when I do the rest here what that's going to look like, because we'll do the same thing at the other end, and then as we come back, it's just going to close in that square. So now we're going to do 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. So I don't know if you saw that. Sometimes I go too quickly and then I've got to realize that I need to slow down. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So again, we're just going to move into the next space, connect it, chain 3, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. So just like any pattern that you do, it's just repetitive. You do the same things over and over again. Okay, so then we're going to move on to the next one, slip stitch, chain 3, and do our 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space. Unwind some more yarn there. Okay, so now we're up to the top of this one. We're going to slip stitch to connect. So I don't want to go any further. I want to stop it there. So I'm just going to chain 1. I'm going to turn it, and then I'm going to start to single crochet across the top to create that square. Oops. So one more. Okay. So now we're going to do a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. We're going to double crochet into this chain space here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So again, slip stitch to connect, chain 3, and then 3 double crochets. If you think you got the hang of it, you can fast forward through so that, I know this video is fairly lengthy, but I did kind of want to give you a bit of an introduction to it and just explain the different C2Cs that you can do, and that this was just going to be more or less an introduction. But I mean, even when I first learned it, it was tricky, and I was like, I'm not getting it. Okay, so now we're up at the top, so this is where we've stopped. So all we need to do here is just slip stitch. We're going to chain 1, then we're going to turn, and we're going to single crochet across. 1, 2, and then 3. Oops. Okay, just 1 more single crochet, and then we got a chain 3. Okay, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space there. So, as you can see, we have now closed in our square, I believe. So let me, yeah, we have, look at that. So, this is just our last stitch, so we're going to slip stitch to connect. Okay, so we kind of want to even that off because we've done single crochets across there. So we will do, sorry, I might be getting out of focus here. So 1, 2, and 3. And that is a C2C square. And that's how it's done. And that's just using, you know, 1 color of string, which I mean, you can, you know, make blankets with this if you're like, and it would be like, you know, it wouldn't, if you're just using all the same color, it would be so easy to just keep going and going until you get bigger and bigger. And again, like I said, you can incorporate pictures, images. It's like a block image, but I mean, it's still really neat. I've made a few dishcloths with C2C. They work up rather quickly. And then I've even done color changes with the dishcloths too, to kind of give like a stripe look or just more of a pattern. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope that was, you know, easy to follow along with. I know this is a fairly lengthy video, but when it comes to C2C, you kind of needed to see it from start to finish. Like I said, I will, you know, in future do a C2C pattern tutorial. It might have to be done in 2 parts, I think, because it can be fairly lengthy, and you know, kind of repetitive if you have to do a bunch of rows with just 1 color. So I mean, I would start it and then probably just work on it and then come back to it when the color changes would start to take place. So, but yeah, this is just a simple C2C to get you started, to get you comfortable with it. And yeah, just stay tuned for more videos from me. I'm generally try to get 2 videos out, 1 with a stitch a week, or a stitch for the week, and then I try to come out with a pattern itself. But I will always have a stitch of the week, because I think that's, you know, it's always interesting to see the new stitches that are out there, and it gives me an opportunity to learn new stitches as well. So it's a great learning experience for all of us. Anyways, I am going to end this video. I do want to connect with you guys more, do some more live, you know, live shows. I do have my contest coming up here shortly. This won't make sense if you're watching this past my contest, but hopefully, you know, I'd like to have more contests as we go along, maybe just for some gift cards or something like that. But I do hope and plan to connect with you guys more, one-on-one with a few lives. Maybe if I could just sit and chat with you guys while I'm crocheting something, I think that would be a lot of fun. And then you guys could kind of let me know what you're working on while we're chatting. So, but yeah, so just, I have lots of ideas, things that I want to do for these videos. So yeah, there's always going to be something that I will be putting out there for you guys. And again, I thank every single one of you for liking my page and interacting with me on my posts. It's just, it's been a wonderful experience. So take care, guys, and I will see you soon with another tutorial.